Alright, welcome to Whiskey Band Reviews. I'm Eric.
I'm Josh.
And today we're doing a review on the Woodford Reserve Toasted Oak Grain.
So let's drink on that.
Alright, so first of all, we're going to get a baseline with Woodford Reserve. We've got a huge bottle of it here. We got the 1.75 liter. Maybe we'll get through that one day. But Woodford Reserve, Josh, one of our kind of favorites that we go to because it is in that realm of bourbons that we like, the rye bourbons, right?
Yeah, it's got that spice to it, also the sweetness, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Woodford Reserve, like I said, it's a rye, 18% rye at that, 72% corn, the rest malted barley. So I'm kind of excited to see where they go with the toasted oak grain, because we've had the Elijah Craig toasted barrel. The Elijah Craig's pretty good. So Woodford Reserve, they come out with these signature series, distillery series, and they're always good. We got the double oak, we've had the 3 grain, 4 grain, the malted chocolate, lots of good stuff. So I'm excited about this one. All right, so let's get into the Woodford Reserve. Get a little hit of that before we get into the toasted oak. All right, just get a little bit of that. Help yourself. You got a good portion of it there you can have if you'd like. Okay, so right off, as you mentioned, with it being rye, we're gonna that standard Woodford just smell. You get the spice right away.
Definitely get the spice. I get almost like a toffee scent.
Yeah, for sure. And I always go back at any time that I'm around Woodford Reserve, if I can even smell it, taste it, drink it, if it's in a mixed drink. It takes me back to a tour I did at their distillery one time, and at the end of it, you do a tasting like you do at all of them. And I remember someone was there and they mentioned bananas once they start to smell it.
Okay.
And now I can never smell Woodford Reserve without smelling bananas now. So that's always like one of the heavy things for me, kind of fruity, which you don't always hear a lot about Woodford Reserve. Maybe more like a dry fruit, but. And yeah, that's Woodford Reserve. Good, better than average bourbon for not a lot of money, really.
Yeah, it's definitely in the price range. I feel like probably one of the more diverse flavors.
Absolutely. So what do you get out of that?
I definitely get a lot of spice on the front. Kind of breaks away to a little bit of sweetness. Again, going back to the toffee, almost like a toffee flavor. Kind of get that Kentucky hug at the end as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's there. It's not like so long that it's from like a higher proof bourbon that you're really gonna feel it going down. But it's just enough to kind of linger around and make you want a little more after a few seconds after drinking it. So
yeah.
I definitely get the spiciness right away, just and pretty standard with kind of all rye bourbons. Probably I'd try that again. Probably some like a bit of caramel, pretty standard bourbon flavors. All of your standard bourbon flavors, they're there. They're just, you can just kind of pick them all out, and it's done really well. I don't really know how to explain it other than it tastes like good bourbon.
Yeah.
And with that spice that I like. So like you said, the spiciness along with kind of the caramel, vanilla, the oak. The oak's pretty forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Which makes the double oak probably one of my favorite go-to that you can just go into a store and buy it off the shelf.
Absolutely.
And maybe we're blessed with being in Kentucky and can kind of get access to the double oak at times. We've had a few different versions of that. Got some behind us here. Probably do a video on some of that at some point, comparing some of those. But yeah, the oak's just right out there, so I'm excited about that. So we're gonna have to finish these off, and we'll come right back with the toasted oak and get into that. Okay, so we're back. We killed off those glasses of Woodford Reserve. It took us a little bit there. We may have poured a little too much, but
it's easy to do with that big bottle.
yeah, you saw us awkwardly pour that. So we'll get into the Woodford Reserve Toasted Oak Grain. This came out just recently, in the last month or so, a couple months. I went up to the distillery and got a couple bottles of it on an off day of work. Let's see, it says Toasted Oak Grain, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, fully matured Woodford Reserve oak grain, finished in a new heavily toasted barrel. A new charred barrel and a new toasted oak barrel was used in this process. So your standard Woodford Reserve, and then they put it in a toasted barrel for, I don't know how long. See the double oak they put in for another year, and then the double oak they put it in another barrel for another year, right?
I believe that's.
I think that's the process.
I believe that's correct.
So this they put into a toasted barrel rather than another charred barrel for. It doesn't say how much time on it. I would assume it's probably a year. That seems to be the standard of some of the other things that I've seen with Woodford Reserve, especially. So let's get into this. I'm excited about this. Like I said, these distillery series that we get from them are always excellent.
I've had very good luck out of them.
All right, there you go.
All right.
Those are those tiny little bottles too. Although I wish they came in bigger sizes, but just kind of cool to hold that bottle. All right, and it comes in at 45.2%, so 90.4. Same as Woodford Reserve, right? Okay. Does not smell like the same bourbon.
It does not. It's quite different.
Very like sweet right off the nose. Like
I get a lot of lemon.
I see that. I smell that.
Not entirely sure where that's coming from, but
Wow, that is almost overwhelming, like the sweetness of it.
it is.
So you kind of, that spiciness and that cinnamony kind of smell that you get from the other one, you don't get it right off here.
No, you got to get past the sweetness a little bit to get into there.
Interesting. You picking anything else out of that? Like I'm just kind of flabbergasted right now as far as how sweet that smells right off the nose.
If I can get past that a little bit, it's still sweet. I smell a little bit of chocolate.
Almost kind of more florally, like once you get into like the realm of the Buffalo Trace, like the E.H. Taylor's, like kind of that like sweetness coming out of it, and kind of the floral, almost kind of like candy kind of, or something very sweet. And then if you can kind of get past that, you can get back to the bourbon smells, the oak, the kind of the corn, the rye, like but man, that sweetness is just overwhelming almost. So I'm interested to see what this tastes like. I'm ready if you're ready.
I am ready.
All right, let's do it. tastes like it smells.
It does. At the same time, it.
Our mics are off.
I don't know.
We're good.
At the same time, it does taste like toasted oak. Definitely get the oak profile there.
Yeah, and it almost comes in kind of a little warmer than the other Woodford Reserve for me.
It comes in warmer, but it's gone much quicker.
It does not linger for the few seconds, kind of like the Woodford Reserve, just their standard bourbon. Absolutely doesn't. Very enjoyable, pleasant. It's really got kind of that upkick of spice after a couple seconds, and then it's gone. It doesn't have that Kentucky hug that you get with a lot of bourbons. That it's just once it's over, it's over. Like a lot going on in your in your mouth right off, just from just all the sweetness, and then the spice kind of hits you, the oakiness of it, kind of the cinnamon taste, and then it's gone. You're ready for another drink. But good thing about it, it leaves you wanting to drink more. It's not. It's like the old, what we got back here? Oh, that's double oak. That's not what I was looking for. But I believe we got the Elijah Craig toasted. There's a lot more of this gone than I thought because I don't remember anything about it. But I can't remember kind of how it would compare to this. And I must have been mistaken earlier when I said Peerless Toasted. I meant Peerless Double. But yeah, I like it.
So it's very, very drinkable.
Yeah, it's. I want to say it's kind of, and not in a bad way. I don't mean this in a bad way. It's almost kind of got like a gimmicky taste to where it's like, oh, this is some super sweet bourbon we're gonna give you. If you don't like the taste of bourbon, you'll like this because it's sweet and doesn't have that burn. So if you got someone that you're trying to introduce to bourbon that's maybe kind of turned off by maybe the heat or the kind of lingering of it, I think this would be a good thing to show them.
It would be a good start. Like you said earlier, it's definitely got that little uptick kind of in the middle, gives you that real spice, a little bit of burn, but it does not linger. It's just, it hits and it's gone.
Yeah. But let's be fair, something that comes out one time, once a year, probably not going to share that with a beginner anyway.
Right.
So, but hey, good idea in theory, if you want to be generous. But yeah, just good, easy drinking Woodford Reserve. They knocked it out of the park. Again, I don't think I've ever had anything that I did not like from Woodford Reserve. I know a lot of people kind of go in on their big signature releases that they do, not so much the distillery series, but kind of the bigger ones that they put out. People kind of hate on those, but I think they're great. I think everything they do is pretty good. Maybe it's just because I love rye bourbon.
Also guilty.
Yeah, but I think it's excellent. So if you can get your hands on it, which is probably going to be pretty difficult, and secondary prices probably aren't going to be friendly to you, especially if you're not in Kentucky. This one's probably going to be hard for you to come by, but if you can, I would highly recommend that you get this bottle. What about you, Josh? What are your kind of lasting thoughts?
I definitely would recommend it as well. Like you were saying with Woodford, it's definitely one of the more consistent distilleries I feel out there. You know, pretty much across the board, for the most part, you know what you're going to get with them. And this one's another solid one for them to add to their list. So yeah, I am fully on board. I agree with you. Totally recommend.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess let's rate this thing 1 to 10. No rookie scores. 7.2 for me.
Okay. I was thinking 6.8.
6.8. Okay, 6.8 is your standard. This is good.
Yeah.
That's you get below that mark, probably not great. good and above it. Maybe I went a little high, but this is our first one, so I might have to reel it in. I'm maybe too generous and feeling too good after that large pour of Woodford Reserve. And we got to do some work on that bottle, so we're going to get out of here. Thanks you guys for watching. Give us a comment, like it. Let us know if you've had it. What do you think of it? And that's all I got. Josh, how about you?
Any suggestions that you would like for us to try and review?
Yeah,
We'd
for
be
sure.
more than happy to do that as well.
See anything here behind us you'd like us to drink? We'd like to drink it, so let us know. All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, so we mentioned the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. We're going to get a little bonus footage here. First of all, so you guys just heard our review of the Woodford Reserve. Megan behind the camera, what do they say about it there at Woodford Reserve? What do they got for the aroma on this new bottle?
So they say the aroma is a well done cinnamon raisin oatmeal cookie dusted with cocoa, dark chocolate shavings, and drizzled with dark molasses.
Read the cookie again.
Well done cinnamon raisin oatmeal cookie.
Well, that's why we couldn't describe it, because like in my head I couldn't think of well done oatmeal raisin cookie, but it makes sense.
It does, but and then I'm over here thinking lemon, so I mean.
Well, I almost said like a baked good, kind of like candy, like baked candy, but I couldn't quite get there because I was just so confused at what it actually smelled like. So what's it got on the taste?
So for flavor, it says sharp spice notes of clove, cinnamon, and nutmeg merge with citrus and a very dark chocolate character.
I think nutmeg was definitely that spice we were getting in the middle.
Probably, absolutely. Man, I guess we're just not good at picking out specific spices from the cabinet. We need to get some down here and just kind of taste them all as we go. But yeah, the citrus, you got that on the nose, and they got it in the taste. It was definitely present. All the senses were kind of going off there. That was pretty wild. I didn't expect that from that. So we mentioned the Toasted Barrel Elijah Craig. Let's try that. See where it falls in comparison. I'm gonna mix it with the Woodford. I don't got another glass. Toasted Barrel. More places should do this. I think it's cool. I mean, I've seen a lot of people kind of hating on it for whatever reason, but
I do enjoy the different finishes. Not huge on the sherry casks.
The sherry casks are not the way to go now.
But I definitely enjoy, especially something like the Toasted Barrel. It just gives it a little, like you said earlier, this is the same bourbon that we had just drank.
Yeah.
But they introduced it to a new barrel, and it totally shifted everything.
Yeah, so a touch higher on the proof. It comes in at 94 proof. So about four higher there.
I smell marshmallows.
Yeah. And this is when I think Toasted Barrel, like you just said, marshmallows. It's almost like s'mores. Like you're at a campfire. Like you got that smell. It's pretty sweet too, though.
It is.
But it's not as forward as the Woodford Reserve was.
You can get past it a little more and pick up, especially the toasted notes.
It's kind of everything that the Woodford Reserve had, but kind of toned down a little bit. And maybe that's good, kind of, because it kind of works together to where everything's a little more mellow. And like you said, you can pick out all the stuff that they probably want you to a little easier than the Woodford Reserve.
I don't know if they want me to get marshmallow or not, but I definitely get that.
Yeah. So sweet. Kind of that cinnamony, spicy that is in all of it. But
almost like
it's
a
kind of
gingerbread.
generic things to say, but it is what it is. I mean, that's what it smells like. But I think the marshmallow, you really hit on it there. I still just get that sense, like almost kind of like burnt campfire wood.
Yeah.
And not so much smoky, but just that smell.
I love that smell, by the way.
Almost kind of like sweet, like cedar wood kind of too. Like, so maybe, let's try that.
Okay.
taste a lot warmer and last a lot longer.
What was the proof difference you said?
About 4.
Okay. Shouldn't be that noticeable just based on the proof alone.
94 proof, and I think the Woodford Reserve
90.4.
90.4. Yeah. So a little bit, not. It tastes like much more. And that 90 proof is just kind of that standard where they're gonna. A lot of bourbons will leave it, although we kind of like it a lot higher than that. But most of them will come out with their standard stuff around 90. What do you think about it?
All right. This is where I'm going to differ from you a little bit on the spice. It's going a little more smoothly for me.
I get it like a strong, like kind of back end of it burn. Not really anything right off the tongue.
Absolutely. It definitely lingers longer because like we said with this one earlier, it hits, it's gone.
Yeah.
This one's more slow build. It kind of gets there and it's not overwhelming by any means, but it lingers.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I mean by just kind of it's a bit more spicy. Is just because at the end of it, when the flavor's gone, like that warmth and just alcohol is still there at the end of it, kind of that burn. Again, it's not to that level that you're feeling it going down like 30 seconds later like you do some things, or I'm not getting that. But yeah, pretty good by Elijah Craig too. So if you're choosing one of these, which one are you picking up?
I'm surprising myself here. I think I'm going to go Elijah Craig.
Okay, well that is good because that would be a lot easier for us to get. I'm gonna go with the Woodford Reserve. I don't know if it's just the mind games of it, knowing that I'm probably never gonna get any more of it after this. But
that's definitely part of it.
But
for sure.
this I would love to have done this blind. And we'll do some of those going forward to where we'll do some blind flights and kind of choose them and rank them. But this may be one we want to come back to and do that with.
Absolutely.
But that was good stuff. So let us know what you think, guys.